It's better music and more of it with Lee Dixon. Thanks for your company. It's Thursday, so that means we check in with Craig at Ulverston Real Estate. He's in the studio for another peek inside. Hello.
Hello, Lee. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. The weekend is nigh.
It's coming upon us. And we're going to talk about stats again.
Stat.
Everyone likes a good stat.
Not in a medical sense.
No, not get the paddle stat.
We're talking statistical stats.
Statistics, numbers.
What have you
Numbers
got?
here, numbers
Yeah.
there, numbers everywhere.
You'd see too many numbers, wouldn't you? Your life is...
Well, I do, but I think in general, daily, we're bombarded with numbers courtesy of the news media.
Yep.
Stock prices, commodity prices, currency movements, arrows up, arrows down. And guess what? To the average person, it means stuff all and has no direct bearing on our lives.
True that.
Really, it's there to confuse.
Unless
we start talking about the inflation numbers courtesy of the cost of government crisis or property prices.
Okay.
That's when people's ears really prick up.
And here we are.
So hands up. Who wants the local property stats hot off the press?
Yes, please.
I can see them in the air.
They're coming in hot and fast.
Right. Here, hot off the press, and these are the figures, courtesy of CoreLogic, for the 6 biggest centres from and including Burnie to Devonport.
They literally just came into your phone. We heard it.
Ding. Went in a studio, always turn off your phone. Sorry.
Can't get fresher than that.
Oh, it's amazing. Technology. So from Burnie to Devonport for April to June 2024. Remember, if you want a qualified, accurate assessment of where your home sits right now in today's market, come to me. Happy to help. So let's start in Burnie.
All right.
Median house price, $443,000. Prices are up 6.5% in the last 12 months. Now, that's a serious improvement for Burnie compared to the start of 2024 because things weren't looking real flash in our last grouping of numbers.
So that's the last 12 months. What about broader?
Broader, prices are up 88.5%. That's 88.5% for the last 5 years.
Your new glasses? 88.5%.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Wait till you hear some of the others.
Right.
So average days on market in Burnie is about 80 days. That's a fairly long haul. But
After last week's episode, that seems a little bit lengthy, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
But look, that's for that quarter. Average time spent at living at a property, that's the tenure, is 11.3 years. So the average person will stay in that one house for about 11.3 years.
That's really interesting. We were talking about this earlier on in the week, actually, here on the radio, and there are some people on the coast that have been in their house over 50 years.
I just saw one where the lady had been there 40.
Wow.
Yeah. So, my parents in Sydney stayed in the same home for 65.
Good on them.
Oh, amazing. But the average turnover is about 11 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's move out of Burnie now. What about Central Coast? Penguin.
Let's
How's that
look at
looking?
Penguin.
My hometown.
There you go. Penguin. Median price, $525,000. Now, prices have come off in Penguin by about 5.4% in the last 12 months. I know they did hit a bit of a peak and they were flying, so buyers might have just held off a little bit. But over the last 5 years, they're up 71.1% overall.
It's just massive.
Average days on market, 46 days, and the average tenure is 12.8 years in Penguin. So we're heading further east. We're heading to West Ulverston. Median price, $482,000. Prices have gone up slightly there, 3.4% in the last 12 months. And prices over the last 5 years up 75.7%. Average days on market, 52, and the average tenure, 12.1 years.
Well, now this is really interesting because you can actually break Ulverston up into 2 bits, can't you?
Yeah, well, then we've got Ulverston itself.
Yep.
So they are 2 distinct localities.
Well, you've got to river up the guts of it, don't you, I suppose?
Call the Leuven,
Yep.
That's it. So the median price in Ulverston, slightly higher than West, and that's $490,000, and that's up 6.4% in the last 12 months. That's pretty healthy. And up 74.8% in the last 5 years. Average days on market, 47 days. And a 12.8-year average tenure.
Interesting.
Now off to Turner's Beach.
Snaking along the coast even further. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know, do I?
Turners Beach, the median is $701,000, up 3.1% for the last 12 months, and for the last 5 years, up 85.5%.
My word.
This is the number that I found pretty interesting, and I can vouch for it. Average days on market, 22.
Sheesh.
So things turn over in...
That's a hell of a lot.
If you're presenting a good property in Turners Beach, it's Gonski.
Signed, sealed, delivered. Thank you for coming.
And average tenure, 11.5 years. Devonport, 466,000 is the median price, up 1.6% in the last 12 months. So Devonport's sort of been treading water a little bit, although it's up 77.9% in the last 5 years. 37 days average on the market, that's pretty good. And average tenure in a home, 11.1 years.
Sort of similar numbers with that figure right across the coast.
It is.
Around that
So
11,
if we
12
average
years,
them all out, based on the numbers, we're going to award our best performing area 2. Have you got a drum roll?
Oh, I can find one.
I'll put him on the spot.
You've put me well and truly on the spot.
We're asking for a drum roll.
Yeah, got one. There we go.
Here we go. And Bernie. Now, even though it may take a little longer to sell there, price growth has been solid, even impressive, compared to the last couple of quarters. So well done to Bernie. Now, averaged out, as I just mentioned, the Northwest looks like this. Median price, $517,000. So prices are up about 2.6% in the last 12 months. Fairly plateaued out. Prices are up 78.9 the last 5 years. Average days on market 47, and the average tenure 11.9 for the Northwest.
Don't you find it funny these days? I was only thinking to myself the other day, people don't refer to buying houses like, oh, it was $500,000. No, it's $750,000. You know, you go back 20, 30 years, you pay quarter of $250,000 was a lot of money.
That's a big deal.
It's chicken feed, isn't it?
I can remember when my sisters bought their first home in the early 70s, $26,000.
God.
And that's everywhere. So, yeah,
but
amazing.
as far as using that terminology, $250,000, $500,000, no, it's not big money anymore.
No, it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Especially when the average price in Sydney is about 1.5.
Yeah, true.
So these numbers, coupled with what Karen and I are experiencing on the ground and working daily with sellers and buyers, tells us that we continue to operate in what I term an even market. There's no clear advantage to buyers or sellers. However, homes that are well presented and attractively priced don't last long.
Especially if it's on the boulevard at Turners Beach.
That helps. Buyers will compete for quality and value for money. Now, if your home needs upgrades or work, you need to leave some what I call meat on the bone for a buyer, because they'll reject you outright if you're overpriced for a home that needs work.
So what's that? Lots of browns.
Brown, well,
cracked
kitchens
tiles,
need doing, bathrooms need doing.
Orange glass.
Orange glass, yeah. I just sold one like that. 40 years in the one home. It was dated, but we priced it so people could put their own stamp on it.
Yep, absolutely.
And it went relatively quickly. So here's the tip. If you're going to sell, position your home or property in such a way that buyers compete against each other, not against you.
Good advice, as always.
As always, I try my
That's
best.
an expectation with you these days. Good advice.
We're agents these days have to put in the hard yards.
Yep.
If you think it's an easy path, you're in the wrong industry. So what's your home worth? How will it compete with other properties and attract buyers? If you're thinking about selling, we can help. Give us a call, 0400 180 515, or just go to our website, ulverstonrealestate.com.
And that was episode 69 of A Peek Inside with Craig Hevel at Ulverston Real Estate. Thank you, mate. We'll do it again in a week.
Loved it. Thanks, Lee.